It's a new era for SmackDown. We got a brand new intro. We got a brand new logo for SmackDown or Smack Sound. I didn't like that logo very much. It's the Triple H era of SmackDown. Roman Reigns is back. Cody Rhodes is conflicted for 25 minutes. Let's preview the breakdown for all of SmackDown. What I want to know though from all of you, what did you think overall of SmackDown as we kicked off this new era of it on USA Network? What did you think of the logo, the intro, the feel? They had like the lower third graphics. Everything has kind of a newer feel to it. Same show, same structure, but I do appreciate they updated some of the aesthetics. I do wish they brought back the giant fist, or they gave us kind of like a mix of old and new. They did recap some highlights and big moments from WWE Smackdown on USA Network. Triple H kicks off the show, welcome us to SmackDown. So the SmackDown logo, like on its own, the SD combination, I liked it on the microphone, but I don't like it on like the full SmackDown logo. I don't know, it's too overlapping. I don't like that. And then I'm conflicted a little bit on that SmackDown logo on the mic, because on its own, I'm like, oh, that looks kind of cool, but it's going for a very sports feel for it. It's very clean looking. It looked like a hockey team's logo to me. I get used to it. The intro people are also kind of like, we should have like Nickelback, or we should have some grungy music, and other people really like it. I've listened to it a couple of times and I'm perfectly good with it. I just wish that the video package they do for the introduction was like moments, like the old days of Raw's War, where it just gets you all jacked up ready for a fight. And this is just like everyone's posing and they got like a lot of splash and pizzazz going on. It's perfectly fine. So after Triple H kicked off the show, we did get the steel cage match, Cody Rhodes going up against Solo Sikoa. They treated this like a PLE. They treated it like a pay-per-view main event, kicking it off, both guys in the ring. The match was good. Cody doing the high spots. Cody actually jumping off the top of the cage, which was surprising to me. I didn't think he would do that. There were some moments in there where like they were doing like the suplex off of the cage. It really looked like they hurt their necks. Cody got busted open too, so added to it. So I think for kicking off SmackDown in a big way, I think they did that. I think they did deliver. Cody retains. He beat Solo Sikoa for the umpteenth time now. Like, Solo just keeps losing. Bloodline needs some help. What do you think? Because for me, Bloodline needs to do something to get the comeuppance on Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. They need to be able to get a little more aggressive and actually get some wins. The standout for me was going to be Jacob Fatu in all of this. I love Fatu just wrecking people. He feels way bigger than Solo. In fact, they have the little moment in there. Roman Reigns enters into the steel cage. I did like when Roman came down, big pop, comes in, closes the cage behind him to lock everybody in. To me, that kind of symbolizes War Games, which we'll talk about in a little bit for Survivor Series. Roman gets in there and just starts dummying everybody. What was cool was that Fatu was at the top of the cage when Roman came out, and then he exited and came down again. And then Fatu was gonna come in the ring with Roman, and Roman was like, bring it on, let's go, Fatu. And then Solo stops Jacob Fatu from entering into the steel cage. So I like that because they've talked and teased this in the previous weeks, where yes, Jacob Fatu says he is loyal to Solo as the tribal chief, but there's little things and little hints happening where like you can see he's gonna go rogue and he's gonna do his own thing. I personally just want to see Jacob Fatu versus Roman Reigns right now, or just Fatu in a singles match. He's way more compelling, way more interesting than just a loose cannon compared to like Solo. So at the end of the steel cage match, you do get the moment of Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns just eyeballing each other. Roman did a good job here though, because he did the small little moments where he's looking at Cody, but he's also looking at the title. And he kept kind of looking back and forth. And then Solo runs away. They did start teasing this a little bit later with Nick Aldis, and that the Bloodline, Solo, and Jacob Fatu want a tag team match against Roman and Cody Rhodes. And Cody comes in, huffing and puffing, all out of breath. And he's telling Nick Aldis that he's like, they're on their own. I don't want to do anything to do with Bloodline. Which just Cody didn't care to stick to his guns there for more than an hour. He changed his tune. Which we'll talk about the main event segment and all of that. Now you did get a very quick match here coming up with Michin going up against Piper Niven with Chelsea Green. Michin ate unprettier under the trash can from Chelsea Green, so I thought that was a good spot. I just wish that they got more than 5 minutes. This is the issue I think that we could be seeing now that Roman is back in there, and it's great to have Roman Reigns, but it's going to mean that other things are going to get pulled back. So having like a 5-minute women's match is kind of meh. So then there was a tag team match. Kevin Owens was going to have a mystery partner to go and take on A-Town Down Under. And we all assumed it would be Randy Orton, but out comes Ricky. So Ricky got over. Everyone was ready for Ricky. Kevin Owens gets called and says that his partner is actually here, turns around to Ricky, and poor Ricky eats a stunner, and he just vanishes from the universe. The Randy Orton and Kevin Owens do this tag team match. They obviously win. I did like the tandem RKO stunner at the end, and Austin Theory just sells the best stunner today, where he just goes flying. So I really like that. The match was fine, it was fun, but it's not progressing anything. One of these guys needs to turn heel. So here's the issue in here, is that while this is all fun, fine and dandy, they got to do something with Kevin Owens' character and Randy Orton. Going up against Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens was supposed to turn heel. He was teasing all of it, and he comes out this week and everything is totally fine. There is no sight of him getting upset, turning heel, anything like that. It's just him and Randy doing their thing once again. I wonder what's going to happen when it comes to Survivor Series, and are these two going to eventually turn heel? Are they going to stick with Cody? Them just being these baby faces now, I feel like they got nowhere to go and they have nothing to really do. They've kind of done everything when it comes to being baby faces on SmackDown. Randy on Raw going up against Gunther was kind of compelling, and I actually enjoyed that. Now he's just back, and I don't know, they got to do something. They can kind of get a little bit of a refresh going into the fall, but something needs to happen with these two. Either they both turn heel, Randy does, but by Survivor Series, they gotta make a move. Okay, then I want to talk about this women's segment they did. You got Nia Jax, Bayley, Naomi, Tiffany Stratton. They all come out in the ring. Basically, it was Bayley and Nia Jax were going to challenge each other. But you get all these 4 women in the ring. Naomi, I thought, was a standout in this segment. But to me, maybe not for you. To me, I was confused by what the stipulation was going to be for all of this. So they're trying to set up a match for Bad Blood for Nia Jax, and it was looking like it's going to be Bayley versus Nia at Bad Blood. But we're not going to have that. At first, it sounded like they were going to have Naomi and Bayley fight each other to get a #1 contender. And then in that segment, it shifted into a tag team match that's going to happen. So we're going to get Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton versus Bayley and Naomi. And this is where it was a little bit too convoluted. It's a cool idea with stipulations. It's just, this segment was long and it took a long time to kind of figure it out. And I think a lot of people were left going, so what is there? What's the stip? What's gonna happen? So here's how it actually lays out. When you get to pen to paper and you talk it all through, you can actually figure out what the hell's going on here. So if Tiffany and Nia Jax win, if they win the tag team match, whoever they pin in the match, that person leaves SmackDown and goes to Raw. If Bayley gets pinned, she will have to go to Raw. If Bayley and Naomi win, whoever gets the pinfall, that person gets to go and fight Nia Jax at Bad Blood. If Naomi pins Tiffany, then Naomi is going to Bad Blood to fight Nia Jax. Which raises the question, what's going to happen in this tag team match? Because Bayley and Naomi kind of have to break down at some point in that match because they want to get the pin for themselves so that they can go on to Bad Blood to get the title. So it's kind of a messy way to set this up. I would like to see Naomi versus Bayley and have them in an actual feud. I do not see anybody like leaving Raw. Naomi going to Raw would be kind of cool. I don't need Bayley on Raw because Damage Control is there. I feel like she'd just be spinning her wheels, and no one's allowed to even touch the women's world title on Raw because it's all just Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley. By the way, it's all set up right now that Tiffany Stratton is going to cash in on Nia Jax, and it makes total sense. But technically, in the world of WWE, she could cash in on Liv. She can cash in on any title she wants. I'd be very curious if WWE just completely surprises us and she doesn't go for Nia Jax at all and she ends up cashing in on like Liv Morgan or Rhea Ripley at like WrestleMania. But anywho, this segment, convoluted, a little bit hard for them to deliver the messaging for this. A graphic would have probably helped people. But I could see that next week, if they're doing this, I think next week, but if they're gonna do this tag team match, I see the faces going over, but they could try to do some kind of wonky thing where they tag the respective person, like Naomi tags in Bayley and it's a blind tag and doesn't see it. And they both try to go for a pin, even though only one of them is legal. And that sets up some friction with each other of like, hey, I got the pin and I was the legal person and you didn't get it. So they might do a triple threat. I could see that, which would be a little bit more interesting than just Bayley and Naomi doing a rematch again, only for Nia Jax to win. Because whoever is facing them, I don't see Nia Jax losing a Bad Blood. I like to see Naomi one-on-one with Nia, but I do think somehow, some way, it's gonna end up with like a triple threat. Carmelo Hayes Andrade had another match, and we ended up with Andrade winning, so he's gonna fight LA Knight, for the United States Championship. Another banger match. I like these two in the feud, and I'm glad that all 3 of these guys are basically gonna be mixing it up. It's not happening at Bad Blood. They're doing this on the SmackDown before Bad Blood. I don't like this. Why can't they do 6 matches? Add Bad Blood. Like do a United States Championship match. Add Bad Blood. I understand the go homes are kind of like pre-shows, but LA Knight has not been on a PLE in quite some time. The man needs an opportunity. But Andrade versus LA Knight is gonna be a lot of fun. You gotta figure Carmelo Hayes is gonna get involved somehow, and he's gonna be wanting to wonk that finish. Maybe setting up the future match once again, kind of like a final match between Andrade and Carmelo. Get them on a PLE. Get them in like just a cage match or Hell in a Cell or something. 2 out of 3 falls match, something cool. But I think we could get like a cool combination of these guys going back and forth. LA Knight versus Andrade. I see LA Knight retaining, but you can mix it up and get Carmelo in there. You can do a 3-way. There's a lot of ways you could do this and stretch this feud out, and it's been a really good TV program. So Roman Reigns comes out for the main event segment, and he says that this is still his WWE, this is his place, this is his house, this is his yard, and all that good stuff. I do like that with Roman Reigns here, he is not leaning into being a babyface. His character has not changed. So I really like that little touch of detail because he's getting the crowd reactions, he's getting the pops, he's getting the babyface reactions. But Roman himself as a character, and this is why it was important for him to talk, to know what kind of where he is. He's not the smiling babyface, he hasn't changed. He is still the same person at WrestleMania. It is still continued for him. And he says it's not about even the Ulafala, he is still the tribal chief regardless of who's got the Ulafala, although he's very excited when he did put it on that 1 week. So I like that Roman's still pushing himself as the tribal chief and nothing's changed for him. It's just getting very personal now, and it'll be interesting to see once we get to like War Games, if there is a War Games match with these guys, that what's the dynamic like Jimmy and Jay, Sammy even, see how Roman reacts and interacts with all of them. So you got Roman talking about how it's still like his WWE, which then brings Cody Rhodes out. I didn't care for this for a couple of things. Number one, oh my gosh, the entrances. Like this was long. This was a long setup. Roman's entrance long. Then you got Cody doing his whole thing. And you got Solo coming out. Like it was a lot of just kind of milling about in the middle of the ring for them to talk. So an hour earlier, he's like, I don't want to be involved in the bloodline. But because Roman Reigns said this is his WWE, Cody feels like he has to respond. He's WWE champion. It's his WWE. And like he says, he's like, I beat you at WrestleMania and hasn't been yours since WrestleMania. So I do like, on one hand, I like that they're still keeping this interesting where they're still playing the line of like, Cody doesn't like forgive Roman or he's not like buddies with him. They just have a common enemy in the bloodline. But it feels like Cody almost needs to prove to Roman Reigns that like, we'll be in a tag team match together now because I'm going to show you like, I'm making the decisions. It's my show. And I'm gonna beat these guys. So you got Mega Power situation happening, which is a lot of fun. The match is gonna be at Bad Blood. Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes versus Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa. I didn't love this main event segment because, I don't know, it just seems like an odd motivation move of Cody Rhodes. Like they could have played that out for a few weeks where Cody says like, I don't want to be involved in the bloodline. And somehow Roman and Cody have to get on the same page over the next couple of weeks. But within the frame of a 2-hour show, like an hour later, Cody's like, let's get in a tag team together. The show overall felt good. It was still just kind of missing a little bit extra. The main focus is the bloodline, and it's great to have Roman on TV. It definitely makes things more interesting. But if you guys want to talk more WWE, and specifically the tag team division, because it feels like the tag team division has just got a big problem, and it's like, the titles just don't matter, do they? So if you want to talk more about that topic, click right here. Have yourself a great day. See ya.